Hey guys, welcome back. In the last video, we worked on the front suspension, and in this video, I think we're going to focus on pulling the carb off and getting that pulled apart so we can soak it in kerosene and then getting it back together. I know it's been a few days since my last video, but I had a horrendous time getting that rear axle out of the bike. It took me 3 days of beating with a hammer and lots of PB plaster to get that taken down. And I don't think that we're going to be able to reuse that. Yeah, so if you look here, you can see that this axle is pretty well peened over on the end. I don't think there's any saving it. What I think happened was there was no grease put in here because this is pretty much bare metal. And it seized to the center hub. I did check the bearings on either side of the hub, and those seem to be fine, but I'm going to have to take and put a wire wheel between inside the hub to clean it up a little bit. But I think that we're definitely going to have to get a new one of these. There's no saving this. And actually, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can see that the threads on this bolt are just, on this nut, I mean, are just, there's nothing left. So axle is going to be ordered and it's on the way. But that's enough of that. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you'd give this video a like and maybe drop a subscribe. That would definitely help me out a lot. Let's get right into it. So I think the easiest way to pull this carb off is to undo these bolts on either side of the frame and lift the basket up, and then we can just slide the carb out of the back. I think that would be the easiest way. Let me get those tools together. Before we get going on that, let me show you. We ended up getting a new front tire on here, a new tube, has new brake pads. I had to bleed the brakes, and everything seems to be working like it should be. Also got the new fender on there, and yeah, let's get that carb apart. All right, I took out the bolt on either side of this basket, so now we should be able to just flip it up like that. And now we have access to our carb. I don't think it's going to be able to pull out this way, but now we have a little bit more access to it. So let's get that off. So that was probably the simplest carb I've ever had to pull on. One thing that I'm not quite sure about is what exactly this is here. It plugs into the wiring harness right here. I'm wondering if this is this almost looks like where an acceleration pump would go. but I'm not sure, so I don't want to mess with it. But then up here we have this looks like throttle position or something. Yeah, that's throttle position. But I was hoping that so our pilot jet has I'm trying to see if I can see it here. This has a 52. So this is a 52 pilot, but the main jet doesn't have a number on it. Actually, maybe it does. Yeah, so you can't really, probably won't be able to make that on camera, but that's a 165 main. So I'll just double check what belongs into the bike. But other than that, I'm just going to get this stuff cleaned up and put back together. Actually, let's check. Usually I like to check. I know you probably can't make it out, but there's our flow valve there, our needle valve. And I'm just going to check if the Teflon is decent on that. But other than that, I'm just going to pretty much leave it alone, just get it cleaned up, because I noticed on the intake side of the carb, there was a lot of nasty. So I'm assuming that that made its way down into the carb. But other than that, it looks pretty decent. I'm just going to get it back together. All right. So you wouldn't believe it unless I showed it on camera, but here is the main jet, and you'll notice that it is in two pieces. When I went to go put the carb back together, I went to go tighten it down, and it snapped. And the crazy thing was I was able to get it out. Usually once you break one of these off inside the carb, and it actually goes right here, right in there. Usually once you break those off inside the carb, that's pretty much it. But I was able to just take a small screwdriver and just twist it out, no problem. So I don't know if this brass was just worn, but I have a new main jet on the way. So just a quick update where I'm at. I was able to get this tank on. I had to take the petcock off the old tank. This is an extended tank, so I think it holds like an extra gallon or so. It sits way down in the frame, and I might have to get a new fuel line for this petcock because the distance is only about that long. Hopefully I can reuse the existing one, but maybe a new one would be better. The plastic is just sitting on here, but this is pretty much how it's going to look. I was able to get this seat cover on there, and I might touch that up just a tidbit, but that's essentially how it's going to look. I got the new brake lever on. We're gonna need some grips, I think. But I was able to get the new brake lever on, and yeah, that's the progress so far. This has been definitely a journey. Everything that could go wrong has seemed to go wrong. I have an axle on order, so we should be getting that, I think, June 3rd or 4th, somewhere along that timeline. I'm gonna go check Automatic Distributor tomorrow to see if I can get that 165 main jet for the carb, just to see if they have it in stock. And I already ordered another one, so it'd just be nice to see if I can get that sooner rather than later. I want to get this project done and move on to the next one. But so far we got, I wouldn't even say half a bike. So far we got a bike. Hopefully this bike is worth all of the effort. I can't wait to get on it and rip on it.